Sedans seem to be dying off here, especially in North America, but Hyundai has committed to keeping their sedans alive. This Elantra has been refreshed for 2024, so as always, I'm going to go through this thing from the outside in, talk about what it's been like to live with for the past week, and talk about what the updates are here for 2024 for this Elantra hybrid. First big update for 2024 is going to be the pricing. So more standard features for more money, so it all kind of evens out. You still get a blue trim and a limited trim, just like the last generation. Your blue is your base trim. That's gone up by about $2,000, so you're looking at about $26,000 now instead of $24,000. And then the top trim here, the limited trim, is only about $350 more than it was in the last generation. The other thing is going to be colors. There are two new grays because everybody's doing grays. Everybody's obsessed with grays. So there are two new ones here for 2024. There's also a new green, but that's going to be end line specific. But this one here, you get in a shade of gray, or you can get it in a red or a blue. Under the hood, no hydraulics, not really expected at this price point in a compact, but we do have a hybrid system here. So we're looking at a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, as well as an electric motor. Combined, the system is going to make 139 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. Not exactly blazing speed going on, but that torque number is the one that you really want to pay attention to. It does accelerate pretty well. And the power from this is going to go through the front wheels. So your electric motor and your gas engine are both going to be powering the front wheels, sort of switching off as needed, trying to use as much electric as possible. This is going to be mated to a 6-speed dual clutch transmission. So a lot of times you'll see a CVT or an ECVT, especially with like Toyota uses an ECVT. In this one, you do get a dual clutch transmission, so you do actually have distinct gearing going on. If you are somebody that's sort of anti-CVT, though, an ECVT is a little more robust than a standard CVT, but it is worth mentioning that this one has the dual clutch. And of course, the big reason you get this is for efficiency. This one is going to be right around 50 miles per gallon combined. I'm getting about 45 to 50 miles per gallon combined here throughout my week with this combined city and highway. So doing a pretty good job there. That's going to be pretty comparable to the Corolla, which is really going to be your primary competitor here in the compact hybrid sedan segment. The Elantra is a little bit longer than the competition. The Civic, the Corolla are going to be a couple inches shorter, but you do get a little bit more space inside, which is nice. We'll talk about that a little bit more during the interior portion. But overall, definitely still in the compact segment here. And we got some new wheels here for 2024 across the board. These are the 17s because we're in the limited trim here. And I like that we actually have some good looking factory wheels coming out nowadays. These are great looking wheels. You're going to be on 16s in the blue trim, but again, new wheels either way. It's just going to be a little bit of a different design. They are wrapped in all seasons. They're Kinergy GTs. Love the design they got going through here. This is a pretty on-brand thing, similar to the Kona. Got some little texture going on through here as well. Back through there. I don't love this gap up here. There's a little bit of a gap for the hood. Kind of bugs me, but the rest of this is pretty nice design going on from the side. These mirrors here, you do have blind spot monitoring. You got LED turn signals in there. You got the rear cross traffic alert. That's going to be standard whether you're in the blue trim or this limited trim. Same with the touch to lock and the touch to unlock. These don't power fold when you park or anything. No auto dimming. Compact sedan market kind of gets left behind in terms of the higher end features. Those aren't even options here on the limited trim, but you know, not the end of the world there. You still get the blind spot monitoring, which is really the big one. The front end here is where you're going to see most of the exterior changes. You got these sort of thinned out LED daytime running lights, this metal bar going through it. You got the body colored line connecting the sides, just this bar kind of going through the middle here. You do have LED headlights. You got auto high beams going on. Love to see that. Is it real? Oh. Does actually go through. I mean, this is all plastic here, but there is actually venting going on through here. Got some venting down there, got some real cooling going on up there. You got the flattened out logo. That's going to be new here for 2024. We do have parking sensors going across the front just because this is the limited trim. The blue trim doesn't get those. So they're a little bit touchy. Like you'll be parked close to a curb, put it into reverse, and it'll still be beeping that the front is too close to something. It's a little bit annoying. Like if I'm in reverse, I'm not going to hit the thing in front of me. So I wish it would just stop beeping at me. But it is nice to have those sensors there. I just wish they weren't quite so touchy. Got this box down here for a little bit more of the safety features going on. Really, I like the front end updates quite a bit. I do think they did a good job with the updates. It looks a lot better than last generation. Should have brought my chainmail glove for this sort of knife edge going on. This one won't actually cut you like the Cybertruck will. We got LED taillights only because we're in the limited trim. The blue trim doesn't get the LEDs, unfortunately, like the brake light going across the back here. We got the flattened out Hyundai logo in the back that's updated. Sort of sleek looking styling going on down here, and the diffuser's been updated. I'll give you a little side by side. You can see how the rear fascia compares to the last year's model. We do have the parking sensors back here only because it is the limited trim level. And again, those are a little bit touchy, as I mentioned, with the front end. We got the button here, pop the trunk into 14 cubic feet of space. Actually quite a bit of space for a sedan, for a compact sedan. And we do have the 60-40 split on the seats, but that's only because this is the limited. Otherwise, you get the bench all the way across if you're in the blue trim, but this one has that split. So nice to see that. Easy access to the lights on the sides. And as I mentioned, no spare. I was looking through the specs. I thought this one had a spare. You just get the fix-a-flat kit. And there's nothing to grab down here. So when you close it, going for the paint. Now there is the button back there, but you can also use the key. I don't like these updated keys that Hyundai switched to. They used to have a nice hefty key, but now we got these going on. But you do have a button on the side. You can hold that down if you want to pop the trunk as well. The other thing we have going on here is remote start right on the key fob. You don't have to pull out your phone, don't have to open an app. Just lock it up, hold down that button, and it will start right up. The inside of this Elantra hybrid really is pretty nice for this price point. If you consider the other compacts across the market, like the Civic, when you go up into the top spec, is pretty nice, but there's no hybrid yet. There will be one in 2025. We'll see how that goes. The Corolla hybrid, there is one, but it's not particularly nice on the inside. Mazda 3 gets you a pretty nice interior, but again, no hybrid version of that. Really, this one, yes, it's 30 grand. Yes, it has these hard plastics around, but for $30,000, this is a pretty nice interior. It doesn't feel particularly cheap, like you would expect at this price point, maybe. There are a couple of changes here for 2024. We got this like soft touch stuff in the doors. We got an updated wireless charger here. We got an extra USB-C up here, some USB-Cs in the back. That makes it modern now. We got the H-Tex going on here, which is like a synthetic leather. It's just Hyundai synthetic leather. You can get it in two different grays or black, but only in the limited trim. In the base, the blue trim, you are still going to get the same cloth seats that you got last year. We got the 10.25-inch screen now standard here with the navigation, which means that actually in the blue trim, you gain nav and you get the newer system, but you lose functionality because Hyundai's better system with the nav doesn't get the wireless Android Auto and wireless CarPlay. A little bit frustrating. So actually in a 2023, you get the blue trim, the base hybrid, you get wireless Android Auto, wireless CarPlay. But if you get a 2024, you don't. If you get a limited in either year, you don't get that. A little bit frustrating. Hopefully there's going to be an over-the-air update at some point, but currently that's the way it is. But generally speaking here, just a nice interior for this price point. You got the leather wrap here. Leather wrap on the shift knob and on the steering wheel are going to be because we are in the limited trim. The auto dimming mirror is because we're in the limited trim. You can option an after the fact accessory, like a dealer installed accessory with HomeLink and auto dimming mirror on either of the trims. So that's not the end of the world if you want to spend a few hundred extra bucks to get that, or maybe get that negotiated in. You don't necessarily have to go up to the limited trim. The heated and ventilated seats are limited trim only, and the wireless charger, that redesigned wireless charger, is only in the limited trim. I wish the Blue at least got heated seats, but no heated or ventilated seats. Limited trim gets both. I do like that they left all these physical knobs and buttons. Everything is easy to use. Their infotainment's also very easy to use, but that is all touch, of course. But down here we have buttons, we have knobs, we have buttons, we have switches, we have knobs, buttons down here. All love to see all of that. Buttons on the switch here on steering wheels for Hyundai Kia Genesis is always very good. That is no different here. I do wish it wasn't this glossy stuff that gets all fingerprinty and it's all shiny and just looks kind of cheap. There is a little more gloss black than I would like to see, because I would like to see no gloss black at all. The steering wheel is comfortable. The 4.2-inch gauge cluster here, it's your standard sort of Hyundai Kia system if you're familiar with Hyundais from the past. But it's very clear, very appealing to the eye. Has just a little bit of information in here that you can scroll through. You got your efficiency, you got your temperatures. You can nerd out over where the power is going, whether you're charging the battery or power is going to the wheels. I always love to nerd out over that. We even got traffic sign recognition with your speed limit in there. This system here, I mentioned that Android Auto, Apple CarPlay are wired, unfortunately, but you can adjust your driver's assist features through here. You've got your quiet mode that Hyundai likes to do, where it'll lower the speakers in the back. You do have climate control here, but you also have climate control with physical buttons down here. You can watch what the hybrid system's doing through here as well as through here. You can program your special star button over here, your customizable button. Really easy to use system, works really great, really quick, nice and intuitive for the most part here. And the sound through that's going to go through the 8-speaker Bose sound system. Typically, you're going to get a 6-speaker if you're in the base model, the Blue trim, but being in the limited gets you the 8-speaker Bose. It's not like super high-end. 8 speakers isn't going to be like surround sound here, even in the small car. But if you're an audiophile, of course, you're definitely going to want to do that upgrade. Moonroof here is going to be part of the limited trim. Back seats back there, they do have those USBs I mentioned. They've got a cup holder, and that center cup holder that folds down with the armrest. Up here in the limited trim here. Those back seats are huge compared to the rest of the compact sedan market. 38 inches of legroom. That's more than a lot of mid-size sedans as well. It's really going to compete even better with mid-size sedans, despite the fact that this car is smaller overall than a lot of those. But for compared to compact sedans, tons and tons of legroom. I fit perfectly fine back there, very comfortably. I've got forward-facing car seats back there for my kids. You can put rear-facing car seats back there if you want. They should fit fine as long as you're not super, super tall. No vents in the center console, unfortunately, just those USBs. I wish there were some vents in there. But otherwise, back seats, big, comfortable, very nice. As for this driver's seat, I mentioned the heat and ventilation here only in the limited trim. These are also 8-way power adjustable instead of the 6-way manual adjustable in the Blue trim. You do have memory seats going on over here as well, which will pull back when you get out of the car and push forward when you sit down in the car. So nice to make it a little bit easier for that ingress, egress. And then, of course, you have a backup camera here. You don't have the full surround view. The limited trim for the gas-powered version, the full gas-powered version does get that surround view. It also gets the blind spot cameras. Unfortunately, this limited trim with the hybrid does not get those features. Really, generally speaking, this interior is a very nice interior for the price point. When we're talking, 30 grand here, and even 26 when the Blue trim, you get the cloth seats. You don't get quite as much of the leather wrap stuff, but still a pretty nice interior. I just wish you could get at least heated seats in that base trim. No heated steering wheel, no wireless CarPlay, but generally speaking here, pretty nice spot to be. Hyundai has got the driving experience nailed down here. They've updated the steering, they've tweaked some things in the steering as well as the suspension, hardware, and software. Typically, a compact sedan, unless it's a luxury car, does not ride this well. I'm really impressed with how smooth this thing is. I'm also very impressed with how quiet it is in here. There is a little bit of road noise. It is kind of wet out at the moment, but during the week when it's been dry, there hasn't really been much noise at all getting in. Really expected it to be a lot louder in here at this price point in a compact sedan. They have got that figured out. The other things that really help this driving experience, the seating position is great and you can move it up and down. I wish the seats were a little more comfortable. They do need a little bit more cushion, maybe a little more bolster. For short trips, for daily driving, it's not bad, but for a long trip, I think this would get a little bit uncomfortable. But the things that help in here, the ergonomics of everything, they've laid everything out very well. Everything is buttons and switches and knobs, and it's all accessible. Even the infotainment, which is a touchscreen, of course, is tilted toward me, so it's very easy to use. You've got the great suite of driver's assist features that Hyundai throws in their vehicles. Now, the only reason this one has the highway drive assist and the cruise control, the smart cruise with stop and go, is because it's the limited trim. Unfortunately, you don't get that on the blue trim, but that is, I've talked about this in many of my other videos, but the highway drive assist with the sort of lane centering and the adaptive cruise, it works really well in the Hyundai products, and it's a super helpful feature, especially if you got kids in the back distracting you, or if you're going on long trips. It helps with fatigue, sort of keep you centered in the lane and keep you distanced very well between you and the person in front of you. And it works well, and it goes down to stop and go, so it works in stop and go traffic as well. Note that this is the highway drive assist 1, not the highway drive assist 2 with the machine learning, where it'll try to adapt to your driving style. The rest of the driver's assist features, like the blind spot, the rear cross traffic, the pedestrian monitoring, all that stuff works very, very well. It is a little bit on the aggressive side in terms of when it's triggered. Like the pre-collision warning has triggered a couple of times when I really wasn't in danger of a collision, but I'd rather have it come on too early than too late. And it's not like super harsh in your face. It kind of lowers your music and gives you a little beep. Definitely not one I mind too much here. We do have the different driving modes going on, so even though this thing it's low powered, and when it starts up in eco mode, it always starts in eco mode. It does feel like if you have to merge on the highway or something, get up to speed quickly, it feels like it's fighting you a little bit. But if you pop it into sport mode or you pop it into smart mode, then it works a lot better. It will respond a lot better. It'll move a lot quicker. It has no problems getting out of its own way. It's really just when it's in that eco mode, trying to go for fuel economy, that's when it feels like it's kind of in its own way. I wish there was a way to start it up in smart mode. And even with that suite of safety features and driver's assist features I mentioned, the visibility is actually pretty good in here. Sedans don't typically have the best visibility out the back. It's fine. It's on par with a lot of other sedans. It's not going to be as good as a hatchback or a crossover with a flat back, but it's still pretty solid visibility, and out the sides, no issues. Not really much of a blind spot. Really solid all around the driving experience. They've got this nailed down. This should be super comfortable to live with every day. When it comes to compact hybrid sedans, the US market is pretty sparse. It's pretty much just this or the Corolla. This one wins it for me in terms of styling. I really like the updates they've done to the exterior of this car quite a bit. The interior, you get the cooled seats as well as the heated seats. The features, the materials, everything on the inside feels like it punches a little bit above that $30,000 price point, whereas the Corolla feels like you're getting about what you're paying for. So in terms of value, you know, Hyundai, Kia, Genesis always do value so well. If I was going for a hybrid compact sedan, I would definitely take a hard look at this car. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.